typewriter. You even know what a typewriter is, kids. Yes?
It was like one of those things you had to type like a...
Exactly. Exactly. Right away he set to work writing joke books for his friends at school. And he's been writing ever since. He's always loved to write funny stuff and make kids laugh. But he's also been scaring kids for more than 20 years with series like Goosebumps. Please help us welcome R.L. Stein!
Wow. Thank you. Oh, what a nice crowd. Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know. Do you think you can be scary on a day like today? I don't know. I think it would be kind of hard. But we'll give it a try, okay? Whenever I talk to people, I like to start out by reading a poem by another author. This is a poem called Haunted by Shel Silverstein. I know, it's wonderful. I always read it because this poem does what I try to do in my books. It's scary and it's funny at the same time. Haunted. I dare you all to go into the haunted house on Howland Hill, where squiggly things with yellow eyes peek past the wormy windowsill. We'll creep into the moonlit yard, where weeds reach out like fingers, and through the rotted old front door, a squeaking on its hinges, down the dark and whispering hall, past the musty study, up the winding staircase. Don't step on the step that's bloody. Through the secret panel to the bedroom, where we'll slide into the ragged, cobweb, dusty bed 10 people must have died in. And the bats will screech, and the spirits will scream, and the thunder will crash like a horrible dream, and we'll sing with the zombies, and dance with the dead, and howl at the ghost with the axe in his head. And come to think of it, what do you say we go get some ice cream instead?
Yeah, right.
That's good, right? It's haunted by Shel Silverstein. Well, you know, this year is the 20th anniversary of Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of scary books, right?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. How many of you have ever read a Goosebumps book? Oh, wow. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And how many of you see my TV series, The Haunting Hour, on Saturday? Oh, that's terrific. I have one more question for you. Does anybody here like ghost stories?
I do.
Okay, you know what I thought? I thought maybe this morning you and I could try to write a ghost story together. You think we can do it? All right. Our story is called The Ghost in the Pumpkin. And the first thing I need from you, I need the name of a boy. Who has a really good boy's name for me? Really good.
Eric.
Yeah, you. Yeah, real loud. What? Bill? Bill, okay. Bill's the name of our boy. And the other thing I need is the name of his sister, who has a really good, April. All right, well, Bill and April really want to go ride this new roller coaster at the carnival called the Dragon Fire. They've heard it's really amazing. And they asked their dad, they want to go on Saturday. And their dad says, well, I'm really sorry, we can't go on Saturday because it's the week before Halloween. And you know what we do the week before Halloween? We go to the pumpkin farm and we pick out a pumpkin to carve. So you can't go. And the two kids are really disappointed. And the next day at school, she has an idea. What was her girl's name?
April.
April. April has an idea. And she says, Bill, listen, why don't you and I go after school to the pumpkin farm by ourselves? We'll pick out a pumpkin, come home, show it to Dad, and then tomorrow we can go ride the roller coaster. And Bill says, oh, I don't know, I'm not too sure. Oh, you know, we have our math tutor after school. We can't miss that, can we? What do you think? Help me out here. What should they do? Should they go to the pumpkin farm or should they go to the math tutor?
Pumpkin farm.
What do you think? What do you think? Let's vote. Let's vote. How many think they should go to the pumpkin farm? How many think they should go to the math tutor? Well, we wouldn't have a very good ghost story if they went to the math tutor, would we? That would be a terrible ghost story. So after school, they get on the bus and they ride out to the pumpkin farm. But as they ride, the sky turns dark and storm clouds come down and the wind picks up. And by the time they get to the farm, it's dark as night. And they climb off the bus and they see the sign, Spirit Farms, pick your own pumpkin. And they go up to the entrance gate. And there's a sign that says, closed. The farm is closed. But April says, listen, Bill, look at those pumpkins right on the other side of the fence. Let's just climb over the fence, pick one, and go home and take it home. And Bill says, I'm not so sure about that, but she doesn't give him a choice. April pulls him over the fence, and now they're standing in the pumpkin field. And they look at the rows of pumpkins, and Bill says, these pumpkins aren't any good. They're too old. Help me write this part. What do the old pumpkins look like? What do they look like in the field? What do they look like? Yeah, yucky. And what else? What else? They're all brown, right? The pumpkins are all brown, and they're horrible looking. What's going on over here? Yeah, anyway, it's squishy. April steps in one. She says, oh, I stepped in wet pumpkin. Oh, yuck. Is anybody hearing this guy? Yeah, who is this guy? All right, we'll try to continue on. So they say, these pumpkins aren't any good. What should we do? April looks over and she sees another field. And she says, look at those pumpkins. Those pumpkins look great. They're nice and fat and round. Let's go over to the other field and get it. So they run over to the other field and they look around and Bill says, wait a minute, what are all these stones? This isn't a pumpkin field, it's a graveyard. They're in a graveyard. Bill says, let's pick up a pumpkin and get out of here. So he bends down and he picks a pumpkin and he tries to pull it off the vine and he twists it, he turns it, it won't come off. He tries to pull it off the vine and he hears a voice say, why don't you try another one? But it isn't April's voice, it's a man's voice. And they both turn around and look up and there, behind the pumpkin vines, is an old farmer. And he says, my name is Yost. It rhymes with ghost. And sure enough, he's a ghost. You can see he's a hideous ghost. Help me write this part. What does a ghost look like? What does a ghost look like? Help me write this. Yes, yes, what does a ghost look like? He's all green and slimy. Yes. Yeah, what else? I can't. He's gnarly. Well, that's pretty good. What about his eyes? What about the ghost's eyes? What do the eyes look like? What color are they? Yeah, shout. Right, they're red. They're blood red, dripping eyes. And he says, and April says, oh my goodness, we didn't know these were your pumpkins. We're really sorry. And the old ghost says, now you cannot leave. And the two kids are really afraid. The ghost starts to move toward them. They know they have to act quickly. What should they do? Help me out. Should they turn and run as fast as they can? Or they see the ghost's open grave behind him. Should they try to push him back in his grave? What do you think? What do you think? Let's vote. How many think they should run as fast as they can and get out of there? How many think they should try to push the old ghost into the grave? Okay, they run forward. They move forward. They push. And they go right through the old ghost. And they tumble into the open grave. And now they're trapped in the grave. And there's worms crawling on the walls. Worms everywhere. And the ghost farmer comes over and he says, now you cannot leave. Now you cannot leave unless you take one of my pumpkins home with you. Huh? Bill says, what are you saying? You mean you'll let us go if we take one of your pumpkins? And the ghost says, yes. If you take one of my pumpkins home, you can go home. And they climb out of the grave. They grab one of the pumpkins. They take it. And when they grab it, the ghost vanishes. The ghost disappears. And they hurry back to the bus, and they get on the bus, and they go home, and they say, Dad, look, we got a pumpkin nice and early. We have our pumpkin. We did it by ourselves, so we can go to the carnival tomorrow. And they don't tell their dad about the ghost, because they know he would never believe them. Who would believe it, right? The next morning, they get up. It's time to carve the pumpkin. And they sit down at a table, and Bill takes a knife and jabs it into the pumpkin to carve it. And when he does, the pumpkin lets out a hideous scream. What does the scream sound like? What does it sound like? And a hideous smoke. That's very good. Very good screaming. I'm impressed. You're scaring me. And a hideous cloud of smoke rises up from the pumpkin. Hideous green, smelly smoke. And settles down over Bill. Down over Bill. And green gunk starts pouring out of the open pumpkin. Green slime. April says, quick, clean it up before Dad sees it, or we won't be able to go to the carnival. But Bill is acting a little weird. He's sort of in slow motion. But they get it cleaned up. They get it all cleaned up. They go to the carnival. They ride the dragon fire. It's a great ride. They have a great time. The dragon fire comes down into a dark tunnel. And April turns to Bill. And she says, that was awesome, wasn't it? But it isn't Bill sitting beside her. It's not Bill. It's Farmer Yost. It's the old ghost sitting beside her. And he says, that was a great ride. Too bad Bill couldn't make it. Where are we going next? That's our ghost story. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for helping me be the writer. Thank you for coming today. Bye-bye now.